right, we are back for game number 2. The Jet City Aviators. That was where you're supposed to go, woo.
Yay! Yay!
There we go. Versus the Dockyard Derby Dames Marauding Mollys. Bombshell number 16. Jamming against 451 Bad Astrid.
Engage. I've been watching a lot of Picard.
I've just been watching Baby Yoda, so I'm just going to do this. And hope that people understand what I'm saying.
Going into turn 2, Bombshell, your lead jammer. Bad Astrid coming out strong, but a shoulder tap from Mexorcist sends her back to the back of the pack.
Just a little bit of a bump.
Bombshell finds an opening on the outside, cuts through for 4 points.
And Bad Astrid on the way to the penalty box. Star in hand, power jam Bombshell, and 4 more points as well. Bombshell swoops through, making it 12 unanswered. As Bad Astrid waits out the rest of the power jam penalty. Bomb through, shell through again, 16 total on the jam.
Trying to go one more time to the outside. Can you hit me now? Lives up to her namesake. Bombshell recycling, Bad Astrid now back in, power jam over. And the jam is called off.
Rolling into jam number 2.
I'm not used to this new scoreboard. I kept looking down at the right corner thinking that was going to be the jam score, and it just kept going up.
Like, what is that? Oh,
Why?
it's a clock.
8, 9, 10. What's going on here? Now they're up to 28 points.
Jammer for the Mollys, number 30, whose name does not apparently appear on my roster. So we'll go with Medicate, who is lead jammer. And then try to catch the name on the jersey as she slides by. And Medicate calls off the jam.
I believe that's
Lauren with the star for the Maruading Mollys. BB5 jamming for the Aviators. Because BB5 did not get enough jamming in the last game.
I like that one step up, just almost off balance, recovering. And BB5, your lead jammer. Lauren breaking loose of the pack now. BB5 cutting right through it, or rather knifing right through it. There's no penalty there.
Yes. 4-on-2 advantage in the pack for the Mollys. The terror face-off out of the penalty box picks up the first line of defense. As BB5 bounces through the pack and picks up 4 points. Lauren also with 4. BB5 calls off the jam. 3 on that final pass.
Little known fact about BB5, she's actually the love child, illicit love child of BB-8 and Johnny 5 from the Short Circuit movies.
Aha.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. Because, you know, wheels and...
I'm going to have a lot of dated references because I'm old. So, Bad Astrid for the Marauding Mollys, Bombshell for the Aviators. Both of them deciding that's not a good approach. Bombshell on the inside, now lead jammer. Bad Astrid fighting her way through that pack now.
And bump to the ground. Back up. Looking to the outside. Bombshell is through for 4.
And we have a star pass completed.
That's a 002, Cindy Lou. Bombshell grabbing 4 more, 8 total, a 41-4 lead currently for the Aviators with 24 and a half to go in the first period.
Medicate now in up against the mysterious number 30.
Yes.
Medicate on the inside, finds her way through to become lead jammer. Number 30 also moving to the inside, manages to beat out Recipe for Disaster and get through. Medicate comes through, goes diagonally from inside to out, picks up her 4 and calls off the jam. Four more points up for the Aviators now. Lauren in, and now BB5 accelerating into position very quickly. And BB5 now into the penalty box, so power jam for Lauren. Mexorcist now anchoring down that defense, trying to eat up some time off this power jam. Lauren now running in against Queen Diamond. Lauren calls off that jam to freeze BB5 in the box. Get a power start out of the next one. They put up 3 points on that one.
On the power start, 451 Bad Astrid. Astrid looking on the outside, cutting to the in, back, forth, left, right. Clearly
BB5 now in, manages to sneak past the defense while they were reforming. So she is out and lead jammer.
And accelerating into the corner.
Pack speeding up. BB5 calls off the jam after eating up a little bit of that clock.
And now we can say it's Redzilla, who I had as number 80 and was very confused.
That's right.
Thank you, Red, for clearing that up. 8-3, it's almost the same number. Medicate with the star for the Aviators. Medicate forced out of bounds. Redzilla caught up at the back.
And they're just now past turn 1. So this is a hard-fought battle.
Indeed.
Redzilla manages to rampage her way out.
Oh, Redzilla looking on the in, but just bumped out. However, the blocker knocked her down, or knocked her out, went down, so back in, pushing towards the front as Medicate tries to find room, but also forced to the inside. 4 points up, Redzilla.
And we have completed a star pass. Queen Diamond. Now your jammer for the Aviators as half the pack goes down. Redzilla hops over, picks up 4 more, and calls off the jam. 8 points up for Marauding Mollys.
And Marauding Mollys calling the timeout. So, Jim Diesel, I got a question for you. Are you tired of ineffective treatments for your body?
Always.
Are you tired of dealing with shrinking insurance coverage and higher out-of-pocket costs?
Bane of my existence.
Well, so is Jill Nye, the science guy. She's also the bane of your existence. No, wait, she's tired of those things. Jill Nye, retired roller derby skier and physical therapist. She's getting out of the insurance game to make physical therapy more affordable and accessible to everyone. Riot against the status quo. Come to Riot Physical Therapy. Jill has 20 years of experience in athletics and orthopedics, working every level of athletics from high school sports to NCAA football to the X Games, and has spent the last 7 years developing corrective exercises and training regimens specifically for the roller derby skater. If you're looking to fix a nagging pain, if that ankle sprain just won't heal and you need help with your mental game, or if you're looking for improved performance on the track, Riot PT has you covered. Jill Nye's Riot PT down in Fremont, 1320 North 35th Street. Reach her directly, Jill at riot.docta. Doctor, that would be, not docta, because I'm not from Massachusetts or whatever. Don't come over and ask Jill while she's DJing for physical therapy, though. That would mess up the tunes.
Lauren up against Hurricane Miami. Hurricane's shoving her way through at the front.
Lauren trapped at the
no
back.
pack now called. And the Hurricane has breached the defenses. So she is now lead jammer. Lauren recycling back behind Mai Tai Smash Ya.
Ooh, sneaks past Mai Tai Smash Ya and Ruby Ruckus to clear the pack.
Which, by the way, is a solid feat, given that her pack is down by 50% right now.
Yes. Hurricane Miami calls off the jam. 3 points. Jet City Aviators taking them to 53. Maruading Mollys 15.
And now down to 70 by 75%. They've got 1 frozen and two more seeded.
Man. Not fun. 451. Bad Astrid jamming against Bombshell, and both jammers out of the pack quickly.
Well done.
Bombshell is lead jammer.
Bombshell hop, skip, and a jump.
Beautiful.
Dodges Recipe for Disaster and just manages to get in there.
Nicely done. That was a dip, duck, dodge, dive, dodge, I think, was the order of operations there.
That Astrid like greased lightning out there.
Are you saying she was hydromatic? All right.
No. I'm saying she's hydromatic.
There we go. Medicate jamming against Redzilla.
Medicate going to the outside. Now going to the inside, finds an opening. Redzilla pushing forward against that strong defense.
And continuing to push and continuing to push. She need a penalty, teaming up with Teeny Bopper. Redzilla finally clear. But Medicate spoils the fun by calling off the jam.
BB5 now up against Bad Astrid. Bad Astrid pushing her way on the inside there. Jukes around at the last second.
But cuts the track on the way up the line.
Power jam BB5 right now.
That lane on the inside looked too good to be true. Apparently because it was. BB5 bounces off 002, Cindy Lou to clear with 4 points.
Red Bulldozer really helping out on eating up some of that penalty clock. Trying to get her jammer back on. Bad Astrid coming onto the track almost meekly and then bursting into action. Terror Faceoff gives her a little hit check on her way out the door.
BB5 calls off the jam, 8 points up. Taking us to 69-19, 15 and a half to go in the first period.
Now Lauren up against Hurricane Miami, and we hear a whistle.
Official timeout.
I mean, really, is there an unofficial timeout? I guess that one time when they burned the popcorn and set off the fire alarms.
Yeah, that was unofficial.
That was pretty unofficial.
That was just the official, let's all go stand outside and be cold for a while.
This song always makes me want to dance like a Muppet.
Excellent work, Kermit. Hey, Triple Horn Brewing is a family-owned brewery in beautiful Woodinville, Washington. They take pride in each and every ingredient they put into their beer. You can visit their kid and pet-friendly brewery and tap room 365 days a year, Triple Horn Brewing in Woodinville, Washington. And we also want to thank Soundbite Hard Cider. They were established this very year and located on Everett Mall Way. I'm guessing this year really means 2019, but we'll go with it. All of their apples come from the Pacific Northwest. Stop by their production space and tasting room in Everett to try some of their other flavors, such as Cherry Bomb and Kiss My Pineapple. They have a rotation of ciders on tap, so follow them on Facebook or Instagram to keep up, because cider is delicious.
Speaking of, I find it very amusing how many of the Bombers who are not in this bout are over in the beer garden right now.
You mean almost all of them?
Pretty much.
All right.
Lauren up against Hurricane Miami now.
Hurricane Miami forced to the ground on the outside, but not out of bounds. Lauren was forced to the infield and had to recycle.
Nemesis holding on as long as she could, but now Hurricane Miami is lead jammer. Mexorcist and Mai Tai Smash It try to chase down Can You Hit Me Now, who has received the star pass.
But nothing doing. 2 points up, Hurricane Miami before calling off the jam. And now we pass the star off to Medicate and Redzilla.
Redzilla Medicate struggling their way through that defense as they head into turn one. Now making it to turn two. It's Teeny Bopper hanging on. Medicate makes it through.
Medicate being all sneaky on the inside line there.
Terror face-off, just going ape in there.
Tara does not like it when people pass her. I think that's the lesson today.
That's pretty typical for Washington drivers, honestly.
Very true. 4 points up for Medicate. Aviators now 79, Marauding Mollys 19.
And speaking of that beer garden, I believe that we're going to have last call here at the end of the halftime.
That we will.
And also the last chance to buy those 50-50 raffle tickets that I saw going around.
Yes. Last check-in at the beginning of the break in the bouts was like $380-something. So that's over 160 for the winner. I'm pretty certain.
Bad Astrid going on the inside track there, picking up lead jammer. BB5 takes a hard hit from Belle Delure, but she's now loose as well. Bad Astrid coming in on her scoring pass. Her defense goes passive to let her through and then reforms. And she's going to call off that jam, picking up 4 points for the Mollies.
I do enjoy the jammer call-off that just gets larger as the time expands from when they start signaling till the whistles blow.
I'm just waiting for them to start doing the windmill at some point. Lauren up against Hurricane Miami. The Hurricane goes up, gets knocked out of bounds, has to recycle. Lauren still struggling up against Sia and Might I Smash Ya. Lauren goes around the outside, round the outside, round the outside, picks up a lead jammer. There goes Hurricane. She's loose as well. Lauren comes in on her scoring pass now. Aviator defense tries to reform, but she finds an opening on the outside. Calls off the jam after picking up her 4. Marauding Mollys starting to rack up some points here, unanswered against the Aviators.
Yes, indeed. 27-80. And new jammer now, number 69, Medusa damage for the Aviators. Against Redzilla for the Marauding Mollys. Medusa damage comes through, lead jammer, or Jet City Aviators. And the wide open lane on the inside edge for 4 points.
Redzilla fighting against that defense. She's trying for that, either to get through or get a star pass. But the rest of her squad is tied up on doing defense.
Speaking of defense, big shoulder from Holly Bush. Knocking Medusa damage.
Yep, getting her on the inside, calls it off. Medicate and Bad Astrid now up. Both struggling against that defense. Medicate goes to the outside where Brat Capone is going to force her to recycle all the way back. Meanwhile, Bad Astrid fighting up front against Recipe for Disaster as well as Shanita Penalty. Bad Astrid forced to recycle, coming at it fresh. She gets a little assist this time. Ducks around Recipe for Disaster, and she is loose and lead jammer. Medicate coming out right behind her.
Teams jockeying. Pat Astrid slides in safe to the corner, calls off the jam, but no points on either side. So we stay with the 60-point game, 87-27. 8:30 to go in the first period. Coming up at halftime, not only last call, not only drawing for money, but also airplane toss to win tickets to our March bout. So get your airplane over at the concession stand. Well, you get the paper. You got to make your own airplane.
All right, BB5 up against Lauren. Lauren pushed to the inside and recycling. BB5 looks like back block. Yes, back block going into the penalty box. So power jam right now for the Marauding Mollys.
Power jam and lead jammer as well. Lauren snatching lead jammer as a 4-on-3 advantage for the Mollys.
And Lauren coming around on her scoring pass. On the advice of her coach, Chuck What Flip-Flops Hollywood.
Yeah, I noticed that since Chuck has moved to Tacoma and started coaching the Mollys, his footwear game has really increased. I mean, the sweatshirt's kind of the same, but wearing actual shoes with laces? Unheard of.
I think he got embarrassed at one point because he kept calling them thongs instead of flip-flops, and now he's just ashamed.
Then Big Papa would play this thong song just for that. It was very strange.
So with BB5 frozen in the box, Redzilla had a power start. Now BB5 back in and engaging the pack. Recipe for Disaster and Mexorcist anchoring down a strong defense. But that pack is stretching out a little bit. And BB5 makes it through to be lead jammer.
Excellent defensive penalty kill work by the Bombers defense. BB5 through for 4. Redzilla completes the initial. And BB5 calls off the jam. 3 more points.
Next up, Bad Astrid up against Hurricane Miami. Both squads down by 1 in the pack. Both jammers playing it a little cagey there, not jumping out. Both of them pushing their way to the front there. Bad Astrid getting a little bit of a jump there, so she is now lead jammer. However, Hurricane Miami now getting out of that pack. That pack's starting to accelerate, now slowing back down as everyone's at full strength. Bad Astrid went to the inside.
Tangles up skates and down she goes, calls off the jam. 1 point.
Medicate up against Lauren. Both trying the outside. Now Medicate switching to the inside. Slow moving pack right now. It's kind of been the theme going off the jump here. They've been really slow.
Yeah.
Coming out of those first couple of turns. This is like lightning fast by comparison. Medicate up against Lieutenant Stryker there. Gets a little boost from Mexorcist, but Lauren is out first. Medicate burning up the track right behind her.
And pace picking up. Is the slow lap apparently done?
Who says blockers don't need cardio?
Jam called off, no points. Just a couple of laps and some time burned off. 3:36 to go in the period. As we wind down towards halftime, Redzilla set to jam against number 69, Medusa Damage.
Medusa almost finding an opening on the inside, but Brat Capone slamming that door shut.
Brad Capone again with the push-out rollback. Terra face-off, always looking to just run into somebody. Bumping Brad Capone out, and then mixing it up with number 6, Holly Bush.
Just now coming out of turn 1 now. Pack thins out just enough for Medusa Damage to become lead jammer, but she was, or not maybe.
Yes, I think that was a contact call, but it might have been a forearm. Either way, it was a penalty. So power jam and no lead jammer either, as Can You Hit Me Now takes the star.
Kenya getting a little assist from her squad there. Trying to disrupt that defense. Terror, Sia, and Recipe for Disaster anchoring that down. Teeny Bopper cycling in.
Can you hit me now?
Can you hit me now? Now out and loose. Of course, no lead jammer right now.
Yes, both jammers now eligible for points. As Medusa Damage called for the forearm penalty. Back to the penalty box. As Can You Hit Me Now with 4 points up. And time runs out on the jam. No more for that second pass.
So big old power start here. Now under 1 minute. So this is most likely going to be the last jam of the half.
Probably.
There are alternate universes where it's possible, but
we got rid of all those in the crisis, as I recall.
That's
so.
right. Bad Astrid up against Medusa Damage, who is, of course, waiting in the penalty box. So Bad Astrid, your lead jammer.
Cindy Lou heading to the penalty box for the Marauding Mollys, so a 4-on-2 advantage for Jet City. Medusa Damage running into Assassin Kate. Now up to the front of the pack. Keeps the feet inbounds to complete the initial pass.
And that is the jam called off. So that is the half. 3 points put up for the Mollys.
Takes us to 36-94. All right, we will take a little break. We will draw a winner for our 50-50 raffle. You can then take all that money straight to the beer garden because at the end of the half, that will be last call. Heidi, your boyfriend, has made it in time for last call. So I think we're ready for the last half. Aviators versus Marauding Mollys.
All right, Hurricane Miami up against Lauren now. Hurricane breezing on through.
I see what you did there.
I'm kidding. I'm all bluster. Lauren still working her way through that defense as they come out of turn 2. Meanwhile, Hurricane coming in. Working her way around Lieutenant Stryker, who tips over and just barely takes Hurricane with her. Slows her down enough for the defense to swallow her up for a few seconds.
Star pass on the Molly side to 002, Cindy Lou. Hurricane Miami bumped out of bounds, literally knocked out of her skate. Calls off the jam because apparently didn't want to just put the skate back on and keep going. I don't know.
Look for the next Ryan Johnson film, Skates Off.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Medicate up against Bad Astrid. Medicate playing a little defense there on the way up. Pack starting to split up now.
Queen Diamond providing some offense.
Both jammers fighting against the respective defenses. Medicate pirouetting her way out into the front. So she is now lead jammer. Bad Astrid cuts around Queen Diamond, just jukes her out. So she's loose. Medicate coming in, running up against Brat Capone. And Kenya hit me now. Slows her down. She calls off the jam. Picks up 3.
Yes, Brad Capone able to stay ahead and avoid being a point. BB5 now jamming against Redzilla. Marauding Mollys 1 shy on the pack, 4-on-3 advantage for the Aviators. And BB5 takes advantage, lead jammer, Aviators.
BB5 coming in. Manages to make her way through that pack around Rat Attack. Picking up her 4 points, coming around again. As they try to reform their defense now. As Redzilla makes her way out. As she's on a scoring pass. BB5 trying to call off the jam, getting a little interrupted, and then doing it successfully the second time around.
That takes us to 111 to 36, 26 and a half minutes to go in the period. Number 69, Medusa Damage, set to jam against Lauren.
And once again, we're not really moving out of turn 1 here as both
really.
squads holding back the opposing jammer.
It's a lot of heavy work on leg day here.
The Marauding Mollys have managed to push Medusa Damage out and is forcing her to recycle.
That breaks things up a bit. So Lauren now just Mexorcist to beat.
Stretching out so much. Mexorcist hanging on for all she's worth.
And finally has to let her go. And no lead jammer apparently. Let's correct that and make Lauren lead jammer. And Lauren then calls off as the star had been passed to Bombshell.
Bombshell taking a hit there from Brat Capone right at the end, but Bombshell manages to dodge out of the way and not hit a ref on the inside there. So great agility.
Refs don't like it when you run into them. It's weird.
Bad Astrid up against Medicate now.
Bad Astrid forced out of bounds and rolled back by Mai Tai Smash Ya. And then deposited to the track by Ruby Ruckus as Medicate lead Jammer, but reabsorbed momentarily before pushing farther forward as 1040 Lieutenant Stryker heads to the penalty box. Star pass off to Cindy Lou. And Medicate calls off the jam. If you're having trouble seeing all the Derby action, book an appointment with Dr. Jeffrey Sutro, optometrist. He'll do a complete eye exam or to check both your vision and your eye health. Whether it's glasses or contacts or possibly eye drops or other treatment or referral, Dr. Jeffrey Sutro's priority is to provide you with excellent eye care. Thank you, Dr. Jeffrey Sutro, for sponsoring Jet City Roller Derby.
Now Redzilla up against Hurricane Miami. Shanita penalty. Needed a penalty, so there she goes into the box. Meanwhile, Hurricane Miami comes out, pursued by a freshly returned Lieutenant Stryker. And Red Bulldozer is now the jammer for Marauding Mollys. But the jam is called off. No points up.
If you're looking for some new branding, you should look to Fast Signs of Everett for your next visual marketing solution. They work with companies of all sizes and across all industries. Located in downtown Everett for your convenience, you too can get some sweet signs from Fast Signs of Everett.
BB5 up against Lauren now.
And the walls are strong in this jam. Slowly starting to come together and then splitting apart again as BB5 pushing. Lauren also pushing. And BB5 lead jammer.
Lauren is now out. Coming around on a pass, but BB5 calling off that jam. 4 more up for the Aviators now.
Medicate lining up with Bad Astrid.
These packs just blazing through the first couple of turns now. Pack stretches out and Bad Astrid comes out of the pack to become lead jammer. Medicate rising from the ground in a burst of speed. She's out on her scoring pass. Bad Astrid comes out, calls off the jam, picking up her 4.
That takes the Marauding Mollys to 43. Aviators, a 1:19, 20 and a half minutes to go in the game.
Just about 20 minutes now. Really, right about the time that the jam starts, it'll be right about 20 minutes.
Just about 20 minutes.
Coincidence. All right, Hurricane doing a little blocking there, keeping Redzilla from going to the inside. Now that pack, as usual, starting to spread out. Redzilla being held back at the back as Hurricane Miami searches for an opening.
Hurricane Miami almost passed, but trips to the ground and then forced out by Can You Hit Me Now?
Cindy Lou held on just long enough for the rest of her team to get there. Cindy Lou there gets her to the inside. Recycles only a little ways, though.
Hurricane Miami pushed out again, still on the initial or the second run of the initial pass.
I think this is the first time we've hit turn 3 without a lead jammer.
Yeah, she got lead just in the entrance to turn 3 before being reabsorbed. And this time Hurricane Miami is clear, completing the second pass of the initial.
Hard fought.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Can You Hit Me Now receiving the star, so she is jamming. Hurricane Miami running up against that defense, picks up 1 point and calls it off. I think the hardest fought single point in this entire bout.
Just about. Run to Be Fit is a family-owned, local, goal-oriented, well-rounded running and fitness and race company, licensed and certified for running, personal and small group training, obstacle racing, and more. Run to Be Fit is focused on helping novice and experienced runners with guidance, support, motivation, and inspiration. Get inspired. Run to Be Fit.
Medusa Damage up against Lauren. Both of them, the whole thing is in one big wad just before
that is a
turn
blob.
1.
It's a solid blob.
Usually they've split up into 2 distinct groups.
Not this time.
Not this time.
No.
Now they're doing it. Lauren at the back being held back by Mexorcist, as well as Queen Diamond, I believe. Oh, pushing through Lauren, finding an opening on the inside.
Yes.
Gets out of there.
She did indeed push it good.
Lieutenant Stryker, Rat Attack being some last lines of defense there, holding off Medusa Damage as long as they could. Terror Face Off, the one to beat. As Lauren swings her hips around to pick up that final point, so she gets all 4, calling off the jam.
120-47 is now the score. And I have been just informed by Ms. Hercha that items at the bake sale are currently half price. So if you need to boost your blood sugar, that's the place to go. Score adjustment, that's 3 points on the last pass, so only 46-120.
BB5 out, your lead jammer, Bad Astrid fighting in the back. Bad Astrid makes her way through the pack, BB5 makes her way through the pack. Calls off the jam after picking up all 4.
Would you like something engraved, Jim Diesel?
Well, obviously.
No? Yeah, I think you would. You're in need of engraved name tags or small engraved signs for your business or organization, so you should check out L&L Engravers at engrave2u.com. That's number 2. Engrave number 2, letter U.com. Or you can just see Graveman when he's not doing whatever it is he's doing over there right now. Something to do with the stream, I think. Perhaps engraving some computer chips.
Medicate and Redzilla battling it out now. Medicate at the back of the pack. Gets tripped up a little bit, so she has to get back up, but that's going to be a penalty there. Good, solid shoulder hit there by Lauren, holding her up. Pack spreading out a bit. Medicate fighting against Lauren. Brat Capone spreading it out, but they have to let her go. Medicate your lead jammer. Redzilla fighting in the back there, but there is no pivot right now for her to pass the star to if she wanted to.
So,
She's loose
just
now.
Skate through and clear the pack. What the heck? 4 more for Medicaid, 128-46 into the fourth quarter of play.
All right. Hurricane Miami now up against Spinderella. First time jamming this evening.
That is 100% appropriate for this song, then.
I'd also like to note that Salt and Peppa are playing over this jam. So Spinderella,
exactly.
An auspicious debut.
Exactly why it's appropriate. Spinderella knocked down one time by number 594, Ruby Ruckus. Hurricane Miami also forced out of bounds and rolled back by Brad Capone. And forced out again and rolled back. Pack pulling forward and Spinderella shouldered out of bounds. A recipe for disaster on
Hurricane
the
Miami coming in like a blast. The Mollys reform in front of her, though. Hold her back. And there goes Spinderella. She's lead jammer. Comes in, loses her footing a little bit, so.
Spinderella cuts the track just a step in front of Shanita penalty and heads to the penalty box. So power jam and a full 2-minute jam, which ain't really that long. And a star pass for the Aviators to recipe for disaster.
And that is going to be time for that jam. 2 points up for the Mollys. And we are on a power start for the Aviators. And
Well, if you're like me, and I know I am, you like socks. And the Sock Monster is Seattle's largest collection of fun, funky, and functional socks. Sock Monster is a small woman-owned company, and they support other women-owned companies like Sockatumi, Rock Socks, and Sweet Marcel. Head to the Sock Monster for all your socky needs.
And BB5 finds an opening on the inside. She is lead jammer. Spinderella now coming back in.
Out of play called, sending number 002, Cindy Lou, to the penalty box.
Spinderella unfortunately did not see the Aviator, who had pushed all the way back to the back of the pack. So she came back in, now power jam once again after that cut track call.
BB5 almost clear, but stopped up by Lieutenant Stryker. Belle d'Allure slipping to the ground, and they door like Scylla and Charybdis, closing right on front of BB8, or BB5 rather.
BB5 turning around looking for a little help, breaking through this pack from her teammates. But Spinderella has returned, so they are a little occupied doing defense.
The Mexorcist with a shrug out of bounds for Spinderella. Jam comes to a close, 12-0 run, 15-0 run rather. We'd like to thank Sports Physical Therapy and Performance Center. They are the Northwest's premier physical therapy group. Sports Physical Therapy and Performance Center has locations in Bellevue and Everett. They are dedicated to providing superior physical therapy for your whole family. by attracting and retaining the best physical therapists to provide compassionate, individualized care. Check out Sports Physical Therapy and Performance Center.
Bad Astrid getting a little bit of a running start there. Medicate taking a more slow, sure route. And she is in Scotland before her. However, both of them moving at high speed around the track. Medicate actually getting passed by Bad Astrid for a moment there. And before they make contact, Medicate calls off the jam. No points, but an exciting race.
No points for you.
And I don't think my eyes deceive me. It looks like they have sent out Sia Wouldn't Want to Be Ya to jam for the Aviators.
Fan favorite, Sia Wouldn't Want to Be Ya. And Lauren jamming for the Maruading Mollys, but Sia Wouldn't Want to Be Ya is through and lead jammer.
And forearm call against Lieutenant Stryker. Apparently taking her name a little too literally out there.
Lauren shouldered to the ground. And a cut track called on Lauren. Both hands out of bounds, and the Mexorcist rolled back. One hand out of bounds, cool. Two hands, then you got to follow them. 4 points up for Sia Wouldn't Want to Be Ya. And Sia Wouldn't Want to Be Ya finally listens to Aviators and calls off the jam. And passing the star off to number 7, Shanita Penalty. Also fan favorite. Both packs at full strength.
Shanita looking on the inside. Now she's looking on the outside as the pack starts to stretch out. Aviators reform to take on Lauren, who's returned, but she out-jinks them. Goes to the outside, and she is lead jammer.
Speedy run by Lauren. And a back block called on Shanita Penalty.
Also taking her name a little literally.
It's just a touch. So Lauren now on the power jam.
I mean, really, what are the refs supposed to do when, you know, you see something
like
like
that.
She's asking for a penalty.
Literally.
She needs them. Who am I to deny her?
4-0 run for the Maruading Mollys, 52 to 152 with just under 6 minutes to go in the game.
I can make a joke about how easy the point spread is, but I'm not going to be mean. Redzilla gets a little bit of a run up here as the teams go off to the pivot line. Fighting against that strong defense. Pack starting to spread out just a little bit. Mexorcist hanging on. Has to let her go as Shanita comes in, wrecking her way through. Tries to get a little swing from Mexorcist, but Lieutenant Stryker just streaks in. The pack swallows Shanita Penalty back up. Lauren forced to recycle now. Might I smash ya? Interposing herself between Redzilla and the rest of the pack.
I'd like to thank Edmonds Orthopedic Center. They provide top-notch care for all your orthopedic needs. You can find in-house x-ray, physical therapy, and outstanding doctors here like Dr. Michael Lee. Dr. Lee is a board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon who has worked with many athletic teams over the course of his career, including Jet City Roller Derby. Shocking that roller derby athletes might need some orthopedic surgeon. Bad Astrid jamming against Assassin Kate. Bad Astrid forced out to the infield.
Recycled with a vengeance, though. She is just pushing her way forward. Queen Diamond, Recipe for Disaster, trying to hang on, but she has spread that pack too thin. She is out.
Clears first, but had taken off the star, so Assassin Kate, lead jammer, calls off the jam.
Medicate and Lauren trying to find an opening. Medicate finds one. She is your lead jammer. Lauren working her way up to the front of that pack. As Medicate comes in but gets knocked to the outside, so she's going to have to recycle.
Nice defensive thrust on the outside to knock Medicate out. Almost done on the inside as well.
Almost free, but Lieutenant Stryker was there. Holds her up for a little bit.
Lauren forced to the outside. Now looking towards the center, but right there in the center is the Mexorcist.
Lieutenant Stryker knocks Medicate to the outside, getting her to starting to recycle her when Ruby Ruckus shows up. Knocks Stryker to the outside, which immediately frees her up to come in early. Nice work there.
Two points up for the Aviators, 158-54. We're down to a minute and a half to go. Just enough time to mention Vinyl Labs Northwest in Mukilteo. If you need a banner, a decal, or a vehicle wrap made, and I've been thinking about getting a vehicle wrap for my car with just your head on it, Jim Diesel, but I haven't made up my mind yet. Check out locally owned and operated Vinyl Labs Northwest. Their in-house design team can make your signage dreams a reality. Last-minute signage is their specialty, so if you need signs fast, give them a call. Vinyl Labs Northwest in Mukilteo.
BB5, your lead jammer. Bad Astrid coming out. Ooh. Takes a hip check from Mexorcist, and then I believe that was a 720 spin.
I think so. She just missed the grabber. It would have gotten extra bonus points.
Oh, she almost held on that one, but was knocked to the inside by Mexorcist. She's picked up 4.
BB5 rounding outside for 4 more, 12 total. Bad Astrid shoulder from Assassin Kate out of bounds.
And now that the period clock has expired, BB5 calls off the jam.
And that is the game.